What is up? Sarah here, and today I'm going to teach you something. Subscribe. I'm going to show you how to apply the principles of StrongFit to your daily activities so that you're moving well. Because the way you move is either going to be feeding your problem or it's going to be fixing your problem. Now this is actually really important because if you think about it, we spend the majority of our waking hours doing our activities of daily living. So if you have low back pain, then you need to be watching this video right to the very end. Vacuuming is internal torque, so that's why I'm palpating my pec to make sure it's engaged. My external obliques are engaged, which is why my low back does not hurt. I like to switch up my hands, right versus left. With the right one, I am inhaling through my mouth on the concentric. With the left, I'm inhaling through my nose on the concentric. All right, so I just got my water delivered conveniently in the corner of my living room. 43 pounds each. And you know that when you bend over and pick these suckers up, it's gonna hurt your low back. So what are you gonna do? That's not a trick question. You're gonna listen to me. Oh my God, stop staring at my jugs. And the jugs just happen to conveniently have handles. So what we are going to do is get the jugs nice and close to our legs. We have a hip width stance. And we are going to bend over, keeping our butt up in the air, and grab onto the handles. You probably have learned on TV and on the internet to lift with your low back. Incorrect. Contrary to popular belief, you do not arch your low back and then pick it up, unless you want to hurt your low back. So what we want to do is actually freeze the lumbar spine, this area down here, so that we protect the low back during the lift. And how do we freeze the lumbar spine? By turning on our external obliques. These dudes right here. How do you turn them on? Do me a favor, put your hands like this. Now, cough. Did you feel a muscle pushing into your hand? Yeah, those are your external obliques, and that's what we need to turn on whenever we are lifting something up off the floor. So I want you to bend over and push your external obliques out into your hands. So I want you to think of using the inside aspect of your hamstring muscles and your external obliques to lift these jugs up. So we're going to take a deep breath in as we lift the jugs up. So take a look. Did you notice when I did that, how my pelvis stayed tucked under the whole time? So you're basically making an ugly bum on purpose. We don't want to see this. No sexy bum, none of this, because that's lifting with the low back, which hurts. So now we need to walk with these. This is a farmer's carry. Internal torque, just like the deadlift was. So my pecs are on, my external obliques are on, and I am going to walk, keeping my feet pointing forward. Notice my slight forward lean. Now listen to my breathing. I exhale through my mouth with the right foot, inhale through my nose with the left foot. And now it's time to put them down. So we're going to hinge again. So that means external obliques, and we're going to breathe out through the mouth. So notice my low back stayed frozen the whole entire time. Next, how to scoop kitty litter without hurting your back. That means you need to hinge. First, I'm going to show you what not to do. So if you want to hurt your low back, then you are going to stick your butt out and arch your low back, and you are going to start scooping your kitty litter like this. And then you are going to stand up like this and go, oh my back, oh ow, ooh, ow, ooh. Instead, we're going to use our external obliques and hinge. So external obliques are turned on. I'm using my inner hamstrings, and I am bending forward as if I'm going to fall on my face and knock my teeth out. Then I'm going to get this kitty litter, and I'm going to stand back up by hinging. So that means external obliques and ugly bum. Do not arch that back, girl. Ta-da! Oh, my back feels so good. Your other option is to squat down and scoop the kitty litter, come see, come saw. And then you just stand back up again. Next, Windexing the windows. Not sponsored. Probably never will be. Watch this shoulder. I'm going to demonstrate what not to do. Did you see how I was shrugging like this, using my upper traps? Now I will show you how to do it correctly. Oh yeah, look at my teres major. Can you see it? Can you see it? Oh yeah, look at that, look at that, look at that. No shrugging. Perfect 100 bonus score. Did you just ruin my video? Hold on, let me show them how to hinge. External obliques and hinge. Ooh. How's your back? Good job. Next, putting mugs away into high cupboards. First I will demonstrate how not to do it. Watch this shoulder. Watch how I shrug up with my upper traps. Oh, neck pain, shoulder pain. Overhead pressing mugs into cupboards is internal torque. So that means we're using the pec major and the teres major. Can you see it? Can you see it? Notice how I went up onto my tippy toes instead of shrugging up with my upper traps. Notice when I pick her up that I do not use my upper traps. This is how to do it incorrectly. Next, raising a glass to your mouth to drink. So watch here. And see how I shrugged up with my upper trap? Now watch me do it correctly. Oh yeah, perfect 100 bonus score using my teres major and my pec majeur. Look at that chest separation, pecs for checks. You guys. Excuse me, excuse you. You guys, you're ruining my video. Next, squatting to a toilet. Did you just open the cupboard? Did you use internal torque? I realize you can't see my face right now, but it really is me and not a body double. First, I will show you how not to squat to the toilet. So do not initiate the squat with your knees. So you don't want to do this. You don't want to dive forward with the knees. You can even hear my knees pissed off. Listen to them. Do you hear that? That's the sound of my knees giving me a round of applause. Good job doing it wrong. Okay, so what we want to do is initiate it with the hips. So we shoot the butt back first. So hips first, then we can lower ourselves down by bending at the knees. Squatting down to the toilet is internal torque, so I'm using the inner hamstrings. And then getting back up is internal torque again. So it's basically hinging to the toilet. It's not really squatting. If you're struggling with this, that's a sign that your internal torque chain is weak. The inner hamstrings are a bit weak, which explains why the quads are taking over and having you dive forward. So that's a sign of quad dominance, which isn't a good thing because it contributes to anterior knee pain. So that's why you do want to work on improving your hinge so that you can strengthen your inner hamstrings and overcome knee pain. Who knew going to the bathroom was a workout? And when you squat, make sure you're distributing your weight equally in both legs. You don't want to be veering to one side or shifting your hip to one side and bearing more weight in one leg. So really think of equal distribution both legs and keeping yourself as symmetrical as possible. When getting back up, make sure the knees don't cave in like this. So none of this. Next, getting in and out of an armchair. First, I will demonstrate what not to do. So you do not want to be shrugging up like this with your upper traps to push yourself up or to lower yourself down. The common theme of this video is that we do not want to be shrugging up with our upper traps. Keep them down, which means you need to use your teres majors and your pec majors. See the difference there? Oh yeah, my pecs are engaged the whole time. Hashtag pecs for checks. Oh yeah. Next, brushing your hair and putting it into a ponytail. First, I will show you what not to do. See how I am using the upper trap? Come back here with my Great, Coco just ran off with my hair elastic and put it under the bed, which means she's gonna eat it, which means she's gonna barf, which means I'm gonna have to hinge at the hips to clean up her barf. Found it. See what she did? She bit it. See that? See that? See that? So you can see what we don't want to be doing here. You see how I'm using the upper trap right here? So in brushing, we want to make sure we do not use the upper trap like that. Same is true for blow drying your hair. You don't want to use the upper trap like that. You want to use the lat, the teres major, and the pec major. So keep this down, not like this. The same is true for putting your hair into a ponytail. You want to keep the traps down. So this would be bringing the traps up, but we want to keep them down here the whole time. Eating licorice is internal torque. See that? And this is cyclical. Oh my God, you eat licorice? Yes, I do. I bet you wish you had some right now. Going up and down stairs is internal torque. So I exhale through my mouth with the right foot, and I inhale through my nose with the left foot. Notice my feet stay pointing straight ahead. So that means I'm not compensating by turning my feet out. If I'm turning the feet out, that's a sign that the inner hamstring and the glute max is weak, so that I'm compensating by turning the foot out, because that helps me use the glute med. The same is true for walking. If you're walking with one foot kind of toed out more than the other, or heck, even both of them toed out, that's a sign that your internal torque chain is weak, and you need to get to work on your inner hamstrings, your glute max, and your external obliques. Next, how you stand. You're still staring at my jugs, aren't you? Standing is internal torque. So I've got my external obliques on, my glute max is squeezed, and I'm using my inner hamstrings. So for people who stand a long time for their jobs, now I confess that I used to stand like this. And in fact, if I'm really lazy and not paying attention, I will revert into this pattern here. So do pay attention to how you're standing, because it gives you clues about your imbalances. And obviously a certain amount of awareness is helpful, because it helps you put an end to bad habits. Next, sitting for prolonged periods, or even for brief periods. Holy crap! So if you're like most people in the population, you spend a huge part of your day sitting down. So I think what not to do is pretty obvious. Awkward postures, especially if you're working at a computer. So what is sitting? Well, it's internal torque. So that means we really need to be paying attention to the main arch in our body, being the external obliques. So I just concentrate on keeping my external obliques engaged. And no, you don't have to be like this. Again, this is not external torque, it's internal torque. So that means we want a posterior pelvic tilt. Remember, ugly bum. And we want to freeze the lumbar spine to prevent it from flexing or extending. I could have said it the way Coach Gus said it. Think of keeping your obliques nice and long. I like how guys can summarize something into like 4 words, and girls need about 45 sentences to get the point across. Next, an over-the-shoulder bag or a purse or a merce versus a backpack. Now this purse was actually a gift from one of my followers. If you're my follower and you want to give me a designer purse, then
I'm okay with that.
If you don't want to give me a designer purse, then you know what you could do is just hit the like button and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. And does anybody use Twitter? Now the problem with the over-the-shoulder bag is that it encourages the upper trap to hike up like this. And by the same token, you don't want to carry a briefcase or a purse or a heavy bag in one hand only. Doing that is going to lead to imbalances. In fact, that's what happened to me. I carried a heavy book bag in this hand for years, and it encouraged all of this to happen. So if you absolutely must use a purse or a bag, I think it's a good idea to make an effort to switch up the hands and to be very aware of what's happening with your upper trap. Make sure it's not shrugging up. Try to keep it in a good position. So that means maybe don't fill your purse with a whole bunch of heavy stuff, because the heavier it is, the more likely you're going to want to go like this. Now, I'm a much bigger fan of backpacks, and in fact, I use backpacks all the time. I like the fact that it's symmetrical loading. Now, the disadvantage of a backpack is that you have a heavy load on your back, which is going to pull you into external torque. But walking around is internal torque. So there is a workaround for this. Just get into it. Get into it. Good boy. Good boy. So you can see how this is a nice symmetrical distribution of weight. But you can also see the problem is that it throws me into external torque. So that means I really need to use my external obliques to keep me in internal torque. Because the reality is walking around is internal torque. See, I'm in internal torque. Another option is to put the backpack in front of you so that it facilitates internal torque. So it's now become like a sandbag carry. Thanks, Bean, for being such a good sport. You can come out now. Do you want to try it? No, it's Coco's turn. Coco likes it. Oh, she really likes it. Thank you for tuning into this video. I really had fun making this one, and I hope you laughed and learned something. I'm currently practicing when I preach. Look at my upper traps. Oh no, you can't look at them because they're not like this. So if you discovered that your upper traps need to shut up, then I am your girl, because I used to suffer from upper trap dominance, and I know what it's like to do everything in your life like this, and they're always sore. So you heard me talking a lot about the internal torque chain, and strengthening my internal torque chain made a world of difference for me, and I would be delighted to show you exactly how to go about that. So you can click the card, or is it over there? I never know where it is, but you can click it to join my Strength Academy so that you can learn how to move with the correct muscles so that you can move well in your activities of daily living as well as during your exercise and become a badass. So now it's time for the outro, and if you frequently watch my videos because you're subscribed, and if you're not subscribed, now would be a good time to subscribe. Or you could alternatively just send me a designer purse. Historically, my outros are just phenomenal. So I'm just going to stop talking now.